The events of Raccoon City have been played out in multiple games, from the original Resident Evil 2 and 3 to the subsequent remakes, and even games like the Dark Side Chronicles. In each of them you play as either Leon, Jill or Claire as you try and fight your way through all of the monsters that are overwhelming the city. But whilst you were fighting for survival, what was going on behind the shadows? Operation Raccoon City tries to answer this, albeit not actually being canonical to the real story. You play as a member of Wolfpack, a team of Umbrella's security service soldiers whose mission is to assist everyone's favourite unkillable badass hunk. From there, the events of RE2 play out from a different perspective and outcome. This third-person cover-based shooter, developed by Slant6, who are best known for working on some of the SOCOM franchise, has you visit various areas that will be familiar to Resident Evil fans, all while dealing with hundreds of zombies, the UBSC, tyrants and even more. Before the RE2 and 3 remakes, this was the first time you were able to move around a 3D version of these locations, so places like the Umbrella laboratories and the RPD were really striking. Whilst you're not able to enter every single part of these areas, it's still great to explore them, and what is there is impressive. The gunplay is one of the weaker aspects of the game. All guns seem to have some form of auto-aim that I couldn't find a way to switch off. You start with a few guns and you can choose between things such as rifles, shotguns, SMGs and even more, and by finding collectibles and completing levels, you gain experience points, which you can then use to buy better guns and perks. You can choose between multiple characters to play as, and the guns unlock for everyone regardless of whether they've been played as before or not. The idea is certain characters' perks like Vector Stealth Camo or Spectre Sonar Vision sound really good, but in practice are actually really pointless. The only character who seems to have any useful abilities is Bertha, who can heal, remove infection and buff damage resistance, all stuff you kinda need throughout the game. You can play missions either offline or online, but if you choose to play offline, prepare for your computer AI teammates to be absolutely terrible. From blocking your shots, getting into fights they shouldn't and alerting enemies, doing absolutely nothing, or my personal favourite, shooting at walls and throwing grenades at invisible enemies. You'd think with all of that it'd be easier to let them die and take on the masses by yourself, but the volume of threats that come in later missions mean that at least they're bait so you can survive. Aside from the single player experience, there is online multiplayer, but much like Umbrella Corps, barely anyone is playing it. Unlike Umbrella Corps though, the main reason for this is probably just trying to get the game to work in the first place. I bought this day one on release for PS3 years ago, completed it and then basically traded it back in. This time I bought it on Steam when it was on sale, and upon installation the game just wouldn't boot. After multiple attempts and searching online for help, turns out the game requires Games for Windows Live to function, a PC service that Microsoft ended ages ago. Thankfully, due to the kind people on the Steam community tab, I did manage to get it to work, but this really should be noted on the store page for the game or just patched to remove its requirement. Overall, it's not a bad game. The story taking beats and cues from RE2 and 3 is interesting, even if it seems more like fan service than anything else. The game is rather short though, and while there are DLC missions, you do have to purchase them if you want to play more. Some enemies are complete bullet sponges like Lickers and Hunters and cause way too much damage if you get hit by them. Weapons also don't feel great to use, and purchasing what are meant to be better ones don't feel like it's worth the price. Finally, the endgame just ends abruptly, with a weird choice of either helping or killing Leon. Helping him puts you against your teammates, who are as amazing as they were when they were on your side. Choosing to kill Leon is a frustrating finale, with him having some pixel perfect aim from all distances and having as much health as some bosses. If you're an RE fan and any of this does sound fun, then by all means do give it a go. It is a solid game when it works, but do play the console versions. Don't bother with the PC release because trying to jump through all the hoops and rings to make it work, it's just not worth the time or the effort. Or if you just want to know what happens in the story, then just watch some clips on YouTube. To be honest, it's the main reason most people bought this game when it came out originally. Either way, I'm done playing bad or below average Resident Evil games, maybe for the minute. I've been Tom from Victory Praise Gaming. Thanks for watching and have a great gaming day.